Welcome to Days Behind, where we unveil the trivia and stories behind holidays and national days. Today is November 8th, 2025. In just 1 week, we will mark a very special day. It is a day of reflection of honor and of gratitude. On November 11th, many will pause to think about the meaning of service. We see American flags waving, perhaps a little more proudly on this day. It is a quiet holiday for some, and a day of public ceremony for others. But at its heart, it is a day to remember the people who have served in the United States military. It is a day we call Veterans Day, a time set aside to honor a promise to never forget their contributions to our country and to the world at large. An armistice, a formal agreement to end the war, was signed. This moment marked the end of World War I. The silence that fell over the battlefields of Europe was a profound and welcome peace. This simple, powerful sequence of numbers, 11, 11, 11, became a symbol. It represented the end of what people hoped would be the war to end all wars. The immense loss and sacrifice of that conflict created a deep need to remember. People wanted to honor not just the end of the fighting, but also the millions who had served. The idea was to create a tradition, a moment each year when the world would stop and remember that hard-won peace. The date itself, November 11th, was chosen to forever commemorate that pivotal moment of quiet after years of noise and battle. So when you think of Veterans Day, it begins with this specific time. It starts with the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. This is the origin, the very seed from which this day of observance grew. It was a moment of universal relief and solemn remembrance that echoed across the globe. People in every nation touched by the war felt its importance. This singular moment in time would go on to shape a tradition of honor that continues to this very day, reminding us of the price of peace and the value of service to one's country. On November 11, 1919, President Woodrow Wilson issued a message to his countrymen on the first Armistice Day. He asked Americans to observe the day with parades and public meetings. He also called for a brief pause in business activities at 11 o'clock a.m. A moment of silent reflection and gratitude. Remembering the armistice that brought an end to the war. The day was dedicated to the cause of world peace and to honoring World War I veterans. For nearly 2 decades, Armistice Day was observed each year, a day of quiet pride and solemn remembrance for the heroes of that first great global conflict. The tradition took hold in America and around the world. In 1938, Congress made November 11th a federal holiday. They passed an act making it Armistice Day. It specifically honored World War I veterans. But the war to end all wars didn't last. The world was plunged into World War II. Millions of Americans served. Soon after, American forces fought in the Korean War. The nation realized traditions needed to expand. Millions of new veterans deserve the nation's thanks. Armistice Day's focus on World War I no longer felt broad enough. This led to change. Veterans groups lobbied Congress. They urged an amendment so the holiday would honor all veterans. November 11th now honors veterans of all wars, whether in wartime or in peacetime. The holiday evolved to embrace everyone who wore the uniform of the United States. So, what is the meaning of Veterans Day today? It is a day to honor and thank all people who have served in the United States Armed Forces, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard. It is a day for the living. We honor the men and women who are with us today, our neighbors, our family members, our co-workers. It is a day to recognize their service, their patriotism, and their willingness to sacrifice for the common good. We acknowledge the contributions of veterans who are now back in civilian life, building our communities and strengthening our nation. It is very important to understand the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. While both are days of remembrance, they have distinct purposes. Whether they served for a few years or for an entire career, in times of war or in times of peace, Veterans Day is for them. It is a chance for the country to say a collective thank you for their dedication and their commitment to protecting our freedoms and our way of life. On this day, we see this gratitude expressed in many ways across the country. There are parades down main streets with veterans marching or riding in classic cars. There are ceremonies held at national cemeteries and local memorials. Schools often hold assemblies to teach students about the importance of service. Many people take the time to personally thank a veteran they know, whether it is a parent, a grandparent, a friend, or a stranger they meet on the street. The tradition of honoring service on November 11th is not unique to the United States. In fact, it is a global day of observance. In the United Kingdom, the day is known as Remembrance Day. In Canada, the day is known as Remembrance Day. In Australia, the day is known as Remembrance Day. And in other Commonwealth nations, the day is known as Remembrance Day. The The ceremonies in other countries often share common elements. Many hold a moment of silence at 11 o'clock a.m., the exact time the Armistice was signed in 1918. This 2-minute silence is a powerful act of collective remembrance, a time to reflect on the cost of war and the blessing of peace. National leaders gather to pay their respects. Veterans gather to pay their respects. Citizens gather to pay their respects. Major monuments, like the Cenotaph in London, host these ceremonies. This shared global tradition connects us to a larger history. While the names and some customs may differ, the core idea is the same. Whether it is called Veterans Day or Remembrance Day, November 11th is a date that carries immense weight around the world. As November 11th approaches, we are invited to do more than just observe a day off from work or school. We are invited to reflect on what it means to be a veteran. These are individuals from all walks of life. They were young men and women who chose to put on a uniform and serve a cause greater than themselves. They worked in countless different roles: front lines of combat, engine rooms of ships, hospital wards, supply depots. Each of them contributed to a larger mission, and their collective service has shaped the world we live in today. Honoring them does not require a grand gesture. The most meaningful acts are often the simplest ones. It can be as easy as taking a moment to learn more about our own history. You could watch a documentary, read an article, visit a local veterans memorial. You could attend a local parade and applaud the veterans as they pass by, showing them that their community sees and appreciates them. These small efforts help keep the spirit of the day alive and teach the next generation about the importance of honoring those who have served our country with such distinction.